Welcome to Media Melanie TV. Today I'm back with a live stream to talk about my top 10 TV shows of 2025. And I'm just going to start out by saying that there were so many good shows. I had a really hard time choosing. So I will mention some of my honorable mentions at the end of this video, along with some of my favorite performances, standalone episodes, favorite scenes of the year. And before I get into my top 10, I'm just going to take care of a little business here at the top, allow some time for people to pop on and come down to the comments. So I want to have a lot of fun today. It's very casual, and obviously also with live streams, things happen. My dogs might bark. There's currently a lawnmower going next door, so you never know. But I think that's one of the fun parts about live streams is that they are pretty laid back and just go with the flow, right? So that said, first of all, I wanted to, and one more thing I'm going to do at the end of the live stream also is just take a look at some of the Golden Globe TV nominations from this year and talk about some of the dubs and snubs and whatnot as well. So I'll get to more stuff after the top 10 at the end of the video. And for anybody watching after the live stream, I will also drop time codes down in the video description. So that way, if you do want to jump ahead to the top 10, you can do that. But I also recommend just watching the whole video because as a TV content creator, or really any content creator, anytime people are joining you, liking, commenting, subscribing, it really sort of helps the YouTube algorithm. So I also just want to start out with some gratitude. You can see the banner I have at the bottom of the screen thanking everybody for tuning in this year. But seriously, I could not be more grateful for this community, this little corner of the internet where I get to talk about one of my biggest passions, which is television. Okay, we've got Christina here in the chat, and she's saying Yellow Jackets, School Spirits, and Dexter Resurrection are her top 3 in that order. Well, I will tell you that I have 2 of those shows on my list, and one of them I did enjoy, and I will be covering it in 2026. So thank you for dropping those shows. And I cannot tell you how excited I am for School Spirits. Season 3 is dropping January 28th, and that is so much earlier than I think any of us anticipated, just given that production wrapped in October of 2025, which is only a couple months ago. That said, I've got some really good early theories for School Spirits, but I also just put out a video previewing what we know about Season 3, talking about the cast, and looking at the first look pictures and the teaser they put out. So do not miss that School Spirits video for anybody who loves the show. And honestly, everybody should be watching School Spirits. It is fantastic. But back to the gratitude as well. I just want to say thank you. Seriously, it has been one of my goals to become a full-time TV content creator. And every time you tune in with me, it just helps me get one step closer. And I just, again, I'm so grateful for everybody here. I hit 10,000 subscribers this year, which is something I never saw coming. I set a goal of 3,000. So to exceed that a couple months ago and be over 10,000 before the end of the year, I mean, I just could not be happier. And actually, one of my highlights of the year as well, I got this adorable little clapper from YouTube creators. So thank you to YouTube creators for recognizing my channel as one that has been growing and offering some really cool perks as well here at the channel. So really appreciate that. And, Christina is saying that Yellow Jackets would be better if the seasons weren't 2 years apart. You know what? I could not agree more. And from what I've heard, we should be getting Yellow Jackets in 2026. And I will be covering that. And I will say season 1 for me has always been my favorite. I think the latter half of season 3 was pretty good, especially the finale, because it finally threw back to things that we've been waiting for this payoff for since season 1. So for me, at least for season 3 of Yellow Jackets, the latter half I think was a lot better than the first half. But yeah, and Christina, thank you for saying congratulations. I really appreciate that. I work really hard here. I put in a lot of time because I really believe in what I'm doing. And again, I tell everybody, try to monetize your passion because there's nothing better in life than being able to make a living doing something that you love. And I'm also a stage manager for live sports, which I also love, and also will definitely keep doing that as long as I can, as long as live sports will allow. And also got to say, there's quite the changing landscape in live sports and media, but that's a whole nother conversation. Also, if you would like to follow me on Instagram at Media Melanie, I do a live weekend watch stream there on Fridays. Just, again, like a super casual thing, talking about shows that I'm watching, recommendations, what's on my radar, and that sort of thing. So also, let's connect over on Instagram. Okay, you know what? Let's get into, I'm going to check some things off my rundown here. You always got to have notes and like a plan, right? Absolutely. Also, I should say, look at my cute merch, you guys. I actually pinned a comment with links to my merch shop. Most of the designs are by me. And there's also an Amazon 2025 gift list down there, which I may earn commissions from, but it's got a lot of solid gift ideas for TV lovers, pop culture lovers, some tech, a little bit of something for everybody. But my merch is really cute as well. So I just got this design done, actually. It's, let's see. Stream Me Up. It's super cute. It's available on hoodie like this one, t-shirts, mugs, and everything like that. So shopping with me is a great way to help support my journey here, but you also get something out of it. You get a really cute item for yourself or to gift to somebody else. So highly recommend that. Still plenty of time for shopping before Christmas and Hanukkah, which I think is the 14th. So get on it, everybody. Okay. First, before the top 10, again, I'm just kind of waiting for some more people to come in if they're so inclined. I'm covering Heated Rivalry. Okay, this was not on my TV bingo card for 2025. It is a very steamy and sultry, almost bordering on like smutty hockey queer romance story. It was originally a Crave show that HBO picked up at the last minute, and I bet they're really glad they did because everybody is talking about Heated Rivalry. It's based on the Game Changers book series by Rachel Reed. And you don't actually need to like hockey or sports to enjoy the show. First of all, I will say the leads of the show, very attractive. No complaints. I mean, in terms of, gosh, my dog. In terms of attractive male leads this year, don't sleep on this show. Maxton Hall also, Damien Hardung is the lead there who plays James Beaufort. Very, very, very cute. So don't sleep on that. But also, Heated Rivalry for all the Yellow Jackets fans out there. There are 2 cast crossovers in Heated Rivalry. First of all, Francois Arnau, who actually played Paul, Coach Ben's boyfriend in Yellow Jackets, but also Sophie Nalise, who plays young Shauna in Yellow Jackets. She is slated to appear in the next episode this week, episode 4, called Rose, named after her. She plays an American actress who gets involved with one of the hockey players. And basically the storyline is there are these 2 hockey players who have this kind of love-hate relationship, and they like each other, but it's tough being a public figure, especially in sports. So there's a secret component to their relationship, and I am waiting, like, on the edge of my seat to see how this season works out. But the last episode was actually very focused on Francois Arnau's character, Scott Hunter, who's a hockey player, also gay. Really great love story. I guess that's based on one of these Game Changers books as well. But you don't have to read the books to enjoy the show. Highly recommend. Finishing up, Welcome to Derry on HBO. 1 episode left, and let me tell you, you don't have to like Stephen King or even be familiar with his IP to appreciate the horror, the emotional journeys, the drama, the gruesomeness, and really the storytelling and world building and lore that Welcome to Derry is offering. Episode 8, the finale airs this week, and I've already watched it, and I'm not normally a person who comes out and like, oh, I got to watch it already. But let me tell you, this might be one of the best episodes of the year. So do not miss that. And if you're not watching, add it to your watch list. You're welcome. Fallout is coming up on Prime Video, Season 2, December 17th. Stars Ella Purnell from Yellow Jackets, Walton Goggins. Camille Nanjiani joins in Season 2. And I'm most likely going to be covering that here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But I also just put up a video, the 12 Days of Binge Miss, and had some fun collaborators in the mix. And it was a lot of fun. I wrote an original song based on the 12 Days of Christmas with shows that I've watched and enjoyed this year. But I also had collaborators in the mix. Matt and Jess TV, my friends over there, were Good Sports for joining me, Kim from Mixed Bag, who's been on my channel a couple of times here, Larry Mullen from the Beverly Hills 90210 world. He now writes young adult novels, so also don't miss that interview. And my friend Kelly, who is a fan of the Buccaneers, who sang one of those lines for me. So thank you to my contributors. Don't miss the video. It's a lot of fun. My singing voice is terrible, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and all in the sake of festive holiday fun. So don't miss that. All right, so Christina, first of all, thanks for being here in the comments, but let's see. I want Yellow Jackets to cover the rescue and how the survivors kept the secret of how they survived. Absolutely. I would love to see the rescue itself, but also the immediate impact of the rescue and the immediate fallout, and what was it like for re-entry for these girls and Travis back into the world. I mean, a lot of people are upset it's ending because they had a 5-season plan, but I don't know, for me, because season 2 and 3 weren't necessarily like my favorites, I feel like maybe ending it a little bit early will be a good way to tie it up concisely without adding too much extraneous stuff, but at the same time, is there too much to wrap up? So I would like to know more about Cabin Daddy lore, the symbol, and all of that as well. So Christina, I'm right there with you and really hoping they can do this in a satisfying way. And from what I understand, Ashley and Bart are also in a deal with Paramount to produce more TV series as well. So we'll see what that ends up showing. Telemasca. You know, Telemasca was okay for me. I will tell you, I love Interview with the Vampire, and I will cover season 3, The Vampire Lestat, when it comes out next year. It's supposed to be in April. I didn't like the Telemasca quite as much, and I'll say I also haven't watched Mayfair Witches, but the original Interview with the Vampire, big fan. And Christina, if you watch the whole season of Telemasca, drop in the comments, like, what were your highs and lows? Did we get Daniel Malloy back? He was in the first episode, but does he come back? I think that was like a big draw for people. So I'm hoping that he did return. Maybe I'll go back to Telemasca. We will see. Let's see. Also, just some personal news thought I'd share here. It's TV related. I am producing a new TV show called Senior Spaces. It is sort of a reality show, edutainment format, similar to House Hunters on HGTV, right? Where you're given 3 choices. In this case, because there's such a large aging senior population, there are so many families going through the choices for the next chapter for their loved ones, especially sandwich generation, people like me, where I've got kids, I've also got aging parents, but we give our people three choices. They can either age in place with age-friendly modifications in their current home, or downsize, move to a smaller home, or look at independent senior living communities. So our pilot episode comes out in January, and I'm really excited for that. It's been a long time coming personal project I've been working on with one of my social media clients, Brian DeVore. So I will share more on that as well. But I just wanted to mention it because it's part of my life. So there we go, something I'm working on. And actually, Senior Spaces TV does have a YouTube channel, so you can go and subscribe over there as well. All right, I'm gonna take a quick drink here. I talk so fast sometimes, you guys. I actually got most talkative in high school, and I just can't help it. Like, I'm a fast talker. I talk a lot, have a lot of words, no shortage of talking, which is why I'm here on YouTube, talking about TV. All right, cheers to everybody. Again, powered by TV. Very cute. Shop the links in the pinned comments. Okay. So another thing I'm going to do at the end of this video is just go over a quick look at some premiere dates and shows I'm going to cover in 2026. And I'm also going to do a whole 2026 TV preview video as well, more robust. But I wanted this video to include a little bit of something for everybody, and because it is the end of the year, lots of things to wrap up, so it's another one of those things. Okay, well, why don't I start with my top 10? Now, my number 10 show here is Pluribus on Apple TV+. So I had a lot of mixed feelings on this show at first. They were keeping Apple TV a lot of this sort of behind the curtain, not revealing a lot of details on the premise, etc. And because it's by Vince Gilligan, who is the creator of two of the best TV shows maybe ever, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, I feel like everybody just out of the gates was like, oh my gosh, this is the best show ever. It's better than Severance, best show ever, Vince Gilligan, king of everything. And I don't know, maybe it's because I can be a contrarian sometimes with things. And if everybody loves it, like, I don't know, maybe I'm like, God, is it just like trending because of Vince Gilligan? But I'll tell you now, probably, I don't know, episode 3 or 4 is when I really got into it and was like, okay, this show has legs. It stars Ray Seahorn, who played Kim Wexler in Better Call Saul. And the premise is this hive mind situation. It's not necessarily post-apocalyptic, but it is sort of dystopian in that realm. So it gives some sci-fi, but it's very understated, I'll say. And as of right now, episode 7 airs tonight, and like we still don't exactly know what's going on. The pieces are starting to come together. There have been some fun cameos in there as well. John Cena last week playing himself was top notch, but I was wavering about putting the show on my top 10 because A, the season is not over, and B, I was very resistant to liking it only because of Vince Gilligan. But having listened to the Pluribus official podcast and getting some behind the scenes info and hearing Vince talk about the show, talk about how he chose to return to filming in Albuquerque like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad to stay loyal to his TV crew, which is amazing, especially as someone who works in TV production. Finding somebody that has that sense of loyalty in this television landscape is rare. And they also built this cul-de-sac that our lead Carol's home is in specifically for the show. They've really like rooted themselves there, and I think it's really cool. So if you haven't watched Pluribus yet and you've been thinking, gosh, you know, is it worth the hype or whatever? I do think it's polarizing. I was working a San Diego State football game, and my Padres producer was working there and was like, what do you think about Pluribus? You know, I just couldn't get through the first episode. I think I'm out. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't love it either, but I'm going to keep going because I have faith here. And as it turns out, it's now on my top 10 list. But I will say there are 7 other shows that I was really struggling to fill into this number 10 spot. And I will mention those at the end because I don't want to give anything away of what might be or might not be on my top 10 list here. So, yeah, there we go. Let's see. So Pluribus, they also got some Golden Globe nods. I mean, the show's just on the air, and, you know, it got a nod for Best Drama and Ray Seahorn as lead actress as well. So I guess just what I like about it the most, though, is it makes us question being human and what it means and relationships and how we socialize and interact with other humans, and what would happen if we were all of a sudden just granted like a genie in a lamp who could give us anything that we wanted, but we're still not surrounded by our loved ones, and how does that all fit into it? So more than sci-fi, it's like a humanity story. So I think it's good. It's worth a look if you haven't watched it. Apple TV Plus, season 1 is still going, and it's already renewed for season 2. So Pluribus, number 10 on the list. Talking really works up a thirst, let me just tell you. Okay, so number 9, School Spirits. Oh, where's my School Spirits photo here? Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Do I not have it? Oh, no, here we go. Okay, School Spirits. So season 3, it was renewed about a month after season 2 wrapped in March of this year. And actually, Jennifer Tilly is on board for season 3, who you may know from the Chucky World universe. She's also a friend of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she's a professional poker player too. But she is stepping in as the Split River High School superintendent in season 3. I've already got some big theories, so stay tuned for videos for all the School Spirits fans out there. But this is a supernatural teen drama, and the reason I love this show so much, it gives multi-generation. So essentially the premise, there are ghosts that have died at this Split River High School, and their spirits are trapped there. And within that general premise, there is a mystery at hand every season. They wrap up the mystery at the end of the season, have a cliffhanger, and then move into the next season with like a whole new mystery at hand. But it stars Peyton List, who you may know from Cobra Kai, and Milo Manheim, who is just fantastic. He's in the Zombies universe, was just recently in Little Shop of Horrors, I believe on Broadway. And there were some questions if he'd be coming back for season 3 or not, and he is. So that is very exciting news. Let's see, Christina, I want to know why there are so many deaths associated with that school. Well, let me tell you, I am pretty sure season 3 is going to get more into the lore of Split River, the town as a whole. But not only that, Christina, there are also ghosts at the hospital. We saw Maddie's dad, and I'm dying to see exactly like how that ties in. But I think Split River High School is cursed. I actually have a whole video up on it going into some ideas about the land that it was built on. And this also plays into one of my theories that I'm going to be dropping soon before the season even streams. So I agree. Why are there so many deaths associated there? Mr. Martin, is he hiding more secrets? The interpersonal relationships between these teenagers, because it's ghosts from all different eras, we get a little bit of like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, a little bit of nostalgia from each generation, which I think is so much fun. There's a love story in there. Maddie and Wally this last season, there were some scenes in there that were among my favorites of the entire year. I am so vested in their relationship. I am dying to find out exactly what is going on with Simon. I'm not going to say any more than that, but yeah. And I'm interested to see if they will get renewed for season 4, because like at one point you're like, okay, how many deaths can there be? Only murders in the building, looking at you. And how long can they keep the story going? I hope they end it at the right time. So they're not forcing an extra season, but they're also wrapping it up with a bow. Love a bow ending. So School Spirits, if you haven't watched it, it's on Paramount Plus. It's got 2 seasons. And I believe you can watch season 1 as well on Netflix right now. So get on it. Highly recommend, especially if you like the teen and young adult dramas. That's how I started out here YouTubing, podcasting with the Beverly Hills 90210 show. Then I got into Yellow Jackets, and again, covering Yellow Jackets here in 2026. But I love the genre in general. So very excited about that. And watch it if you haven't already. So yes, get on it. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, number 8. Well, this was one I didn't see coming or necessarily expect to be on my list this year, but I will tell you it blew me out of the water, and I don't say that about a lot of spin-off sequels and that sort of thing. Dexter Resurrection on Paramount Plus. Just wow. 10 out of 10. Amazing season of television. It did not get any Golden Globes looks, because I think maybe the franchise is one that's been around so long. Maybe people feel fatigued about hearing Dexter. I mean, they had Original Sin, which was a prequel earlier this year. That has since been canceled. But what's weird about that is they had previously renewed it, and then they decided to cancel it, which I think is because Dexter Resurrection did so well and they weren't expecting it. So I would guess that because of the changes at Paramount and the success of Dexter Resurrection, that's probably why Original Sin got canceled. But is it still worth the watch? Absolutely. It's got Sarah Michelle Gellar, Christian Slater, really great cast there. So don't miss that too. But Dexter Resurrection had a lot of really strong guest stars this season, including Uma Thurman, Peter Dinklage, Kristen Ritter, Eric Stonestreet, David Dashmalian, Neil Patrick Harris, just so many big names. And James Remar reprised his role as well. And James Remar's had a busy year because he was also in It, Welcome to Derry, which I will get to later. Christina, yes, wow, Dexter Resurrection was so good. I love Cam from Modern Family, such a different character. Right? Him playing a serial killer was absolutely amazing. And I don't want to give too much away here for people that haven't watched it, but I will say there's more potential for his character in future seasons. I just was unexpected that I liked this so much. Episode 4 was one of the best, I think, of the entire season, but also there was a major character death this season, which I won't spoil, but it was like so hard to watch. This is a well-known franchise character, so for that person to be gone was just really, really, really sad. But yeah, Dexter Resurrection, highly recommend. Kristen Ritter was great too here in the picture. There were a lot of twists and turns and mysteries and things we weren't expecting, and I loved the show. It's renewed for season 2. Writer's room is open, and really cannot wait for that to come back. So check it out if you haven't already. I will say you probably need to watch the original Dexter before you watch this, and probably New Blood, but New Blood was the spinoff before this, and just if we're ranking, it goes Dexter, Dexter Resurrection, Original Sin, and New Blood. New Blood, not my favorite, but to get the context of the story to where Dexter Resurrection picks up, I do think you should probably watch it. It's only one season, so could be worse, right? All right, let's see, what do we got next? The Studio on Apple TV. So I will say, I mean, normally I'm into darker shows. I like thrillers and horror and all that, but this comedy got me, and I'll say, I'll throw it out there now, but Platonic Season 2 on Apple TV Plus was another comedy that I was debating putting on the list, but I ended up opting for Pluribus instead. I mentioned that too because Seth Rogen also stars in Platonic, and he's very funny. Stars with Rose Byrne, who, by the way, was in the show called Damages with Glenn Close. It's got a few seasons, older show. Incredible. If you have not watched that, if you like Rose Byrne, don't miss it. But The Studio was really funny. It's another one of these polarizing shows where people either love it or they hate it. I think when I was talking about the show at work, people are like, oh, it's so frantic and go, go, go. And the score does a great job of sort of keeping that vibe there. But for me, that really worked. It kept the story flowing. It kept it fresh. The writing was highly comedic. I was laughing out loud. It's already renewed for a second season, and it got a lot of Emmys love. And I was reading an interview about Seth Rogen talking about the fact that there are directors approaching him who want to appear in the show as themselves, but he has to turn some of them down, probably some big names, I would imagine, because it might not be a fit for the story they're trying to tell in the studio. But if you're looking for an easy-to-watch comedy, the episodes are relatively short, aside from the first one. Took a little bit longer to establish itself. Bryan Cranston in the first episode or two. The cast is amazing. I just can't recommend the show enough, especially if you need some laughs in your life. And hey, with the climate of the world right now, who doesn't? But The Studio basically tells the story of a studio executive, some of the ups and downs, some of the situations that they are dealing with. There's a Vegas episode there where they go to Vegas, and that for me was probably the highlight of the season. And I was debating on putting it on the list, but again, like I have to go with vibes and shows that either give me a visceral reaction or make me laugh. And this show did that job. I was cracking up. I loved it. I think the humor was great, especially if you work adjacent to the TV industry, which you don't have to appreciate the show. But for me, just a little extra reason, I think, why I was attracted to it. So The Studio is my number 7 show. So don't miss that. And again, if you like comedies, if you like Seth Rogen, or honestly, even if you don't like Seth Rogen, he plays kind of like a bumbling fool a little bit in this show. So I think it actually works for him. But in Platonic as well, he plays the college friend of Rose Byrne, and he does a really, really good job. So you need some laughs. The Studio on Apple TV, which is my number 7 pick. But moving to number 6. All right, let me get my picture up here. Let's see. Okay. Number 6 is The Diplomat on Netflix, season 3. This show landed on my top 10 of last year as well, for good reason. Kerry Russell is exceptional here as Kate Weiler. She's a diplomat overseas. Her husband is also a politician and very big part of the storylines, especially here in season 3, but something I loved the most about it. So Bradley Whitford, who's pictured here. You may know him from The West Wing or The Handmaid's Tale, which I covered here on the channel, and I will be covering The Testaments when that comes out, I believe in April of 2026. Handmaid's Tale was great. It didn't land on my favorite list, spoiler alert. But Bradley Whitford, love his character, Commander Lawrence, in that show. And he was in this season of The Diplomat and is upgraded to a series regular for the next season, which is already renewed. He was great. I loved him. The story was good. There was a really solid cliffhanger here. It's like a political thriller, but it's also funny. And Bradley Whitford, his co-star from The West Wing, Allison Janney, is also here in The Diplomat, and she is also getting more screen time and will be a series regular for season 4. They actually play husband and wife, which is very cute. So, I mean, The Diplomat may not be for you if you're not into the politics of it all, but the story isn't super hard to follow. It definitely, it has like a pretty good pace to it, but Kerry Russell's character, she gives no Fs. She's the type that doesn't really care about her hair, her appearance, and I've just got to say, like, as a low-maintenance girly, I so relate to that, and I just, like, binged right through the season, and typically I like a week-to-week watch. Let things sit, marinate a little, build some suspense and excitement, but I am glad this one dropped as a binge because I just flew right through it and loved every second of it. Okay, so let's see. We have Khalifa Khan 9936. Sorry I missed. Where can we see the show you're producing? So that is actually going to air locally in San Diego on KUSI and Fox, or KUSI, and it will air nationally on Your View, which is a Cox Communications product. So yeah, as soon as that comes out, I'm actually going to share more information on it. We've got a sizzle reel up right now, which is at Senior Spaces TV here on YouTube. So check that out to kind of see the premise. Very excited to share it with everybody. It's something that I feel like our society needs right now, especially with such an aging population. So yeah, more info on that. Make sure you're subscribed here, you know, like this video, all the normal stuff. So that way you don't miss any news. And then also on the other social media platforms, I'm active on Facebook, on Instagram, at Media Melanie, and on X. I'm on X, Twitter, actually quite a bit. So you can find me there as well. I didn't actually change my handle to Media Melanie TV on a couple of them because I've had the handle Media Melanie for so long and I don't want to give it up. So you search Media Melanie, you'll find me. But yeah, I'm really excited for the show I will be producing, Senior Spaces. Stay tuned. All right, so The Diplomat. As I said, political thriller on Netflix. It's a very smart show. The writing is good. The politics of it all are very interesting. There's a lot of surreptitious and sneaky undercurrents of things going on in the world, which seems to me very true to life in terms of political landscapes and decisions, why they're made, why some people land in positions of power and some don't. And then also looking at the dynamics of Kate Weiler's marriage to her husband, Hal, who again is a politician as well. So there's definitely a power struggle going on there. And I really enjoy the relationship dynamics of those two. They are great on screen together. So The Diplomat, number 6, again, second year in a row. The Diplomat's been on my list. Will it be on again next year? Guess you'll have to subscribe and stay tuned to find out. But if it keeps going the way it's going, probably. All right, before I get to number 5, pausing for another beverage and another look at my very cute merch available at the link in the comment I have pinned. So again, check it out. Whew. I feel like if there was like a talking marathon, I could participate in that. Okay, number 5, Task on HBO. Let me get my picture up here. Okay. So this was originally dubbed a limited series, and as with so many shows out there that say, "Oh, we're a limited series," well, guess what? It's been renewed for a second season, and Brad Inglesby has talked about having it grounded in Mark Ruffalo's character. So the basic premise, it is very Philadelphia coded, and Mark Ruffalo leads a task force team. His boss is played by Martha Plimpton, who's on a bunch of TV shows, but who I initially fell in love with on The Goonies. Yes, I'm a Goonies girl, my favorite childhood movie of all time. But his co-star here is Tom Pelphrey, who you may have seen in Ozark. Now, The biggest travesty of all with the Golden Globe nominations this year is the fact that Tom Pelphrey did not get a look for his character Robbie Prendergast here in Task. And he should have been nominated as a supporting actor. Like, I was counting on it. I'm outraged that he did not get a look. And I will get more into the Golden Globes in a little bit, but they have like 2 White Lotus people in there. They have Jason Isaacs and Walton Goggins, and I love both of them. Like, they're fantastic. But if we're looking at performances, like, what are we doing not getting our guy Tom in there? He was so good. He's this anti-hero who you're rooting for. He's a sanitation worker and gets caught up in this sort of revenge plot for his brother who was killed. There is a biker gang, the Dark Hearts, at play. And Mark Ruffalo's character, Tom, is trying to take them down, investigate the mystery that is at hand. And he's also dealing with some family issues. But there were just so many scenes and moments from this show that just really sat with me this year. I ended up covering it here on the channel. I didn't get episode 1 done because it really wasn't a show I was planning on falling in love with. But as it turns out, it really resonated here on the channel. People liked it, and I will be back to cover that for season 2 as well. Thinking probably more like a 2027 for that, but you never know. I mean, some shows are impressing us with their turnaround time. I mean, gosh, look at School Spirits again. Like, it wrapped in October, coming back in January. It aired last January. Like, love shows that come back with expedience. And there's another one on the list that I'll be talking about too that is also coming back soon. But Task, another note here on the cast, Amelia Jones, who is in the movie Coda, she plays Maeve Prendergast, Robbie's niece, who's played by Tom Pelphrey. She was another standout performance for me. I really enjoyed this show. It got a lot into, obviously, like the FBI dynamics, the crime dynamics, and what it's like to root for a criminal, and for a TV show to make you so emotionally vested in a character who is kind of a bad guy, but you still want him to win, is always an interesting thing, at least for me. And if you haven't watched Task yet, you've got to get on it. I believe it's only 7 episodes, if memory serves me correctly. But again, it's on HBO, and Mark Ruffalo was great too. He did get nominated for a Golden Globe, but I, again, am appalled that Tom Pelphrey did not. If you watch Task, are you equally as devastated as I am? And I know award shows, I mean, you know, take it or leave it or whatever, but they're also an indicator of what people are watching and liking. And by all accounts, I mean, the internet was all about Tom Pelphrey's character, Robbie Prendergast. So just saying, like, missed opportunity there. Let's see. Christina, what happened to seasons from September to May in the same year? You know what, Christina, what happened to a lot of things, right? Like, I don't know what your age is, but I am like in my mid-40s. And remember when shows were 22 episodes a season and they still came back about annually? I mean, I understand. We had COVID. We had the strikes and all of that, but we're back to a sense of normalcy, and seeing other shows who are able to have a good turnaround time makes me think, okay, it is possible. We don't all have to be Severance, who takes literally 3 years to come back, or Euphoria, another one coming back this year that's been off our screens for years. So I don't know if it builds more buzz when it does come back or if people have forgotten about it. So for shows that do take that long, what are your thoughts? Like, do you have to go back and rewatch them? Are you just like, you know what, it's taking too long, I'm out? Or do you become just as vested when it returns as you were, before it came back? All right, so Christina is 57. Okay, cool. So, okay, you get it. And I remember those days, just a summer break where you got reruns. I mean, TV used to be such a thing. And it's funny too with just cable and streaming in general, because a lot of us cut the cord with cable thinking, oh, we're going to go to streaming. There's no commercials. Now we're paying similar cable prices to get all these different streamers. And a lot of us are back to commercials again, depending if you get the ad free or ad version. And I tell my kids all the time, like, you know, we used to have to sit here and watch commercials and couldn't fast forward through things and couldn't just go to an on-demand library. I mean, God, I was taping Beverly Hills 90210 on my literal VCR. It's like with music on the radio. You'd sit there waiting to press play or record on your tape cassette to record a mixtape. Like, those were the days. You guys, you had to put a VHS tape in a separate device. I think a lot of people had them, maybe not everybody. Aside from the VCR, a videotape rewinder to rewind your video before you returned it to the video store. Like, the simpler times, there's just really, I think, something to that. There's so much of everything right now. Media, just things are so different. And sometimes I'm like, man, I just wish I could go back to the 90s. Things were a lot simpler back then. But alas. Christina, season 2 of Grotesquerie. Now that's interesting. I covered that show this year, and let me tell you, half the time I'm like, what is actually going on here? And I said at the end, I will not come back and cover it if it comes back. But if it does, I will be back, because Ryan Murphy has this way of just creating shows that are like mind F's, I still don't really know what was happening during the season. Like, there were so many things like, is this really happening? Is this a dream? Is this a hallucination? Is this like a coma thing? Whatever. It was a really interesting season of television, and there's been no news on it. So now I'm like, okay, are they coming back for a season 2, or is it just one and done? We'll see. But yeah, Christina, if you didn't watch my coverage of it, feel free to go back and look at some of my hot takes there. That show was wild. Okay, so Task, I think I got everything there. Again, Task on HBO, 1 season so far, renewed for season 2. Very recognized with all of the recognized here with the Golden Globes. And I'm imagining the next cycle of Emmys. And our boy Tom Pelphrey better get a nomination, because that snub, it's unforgivable for me. Another big snub I'm going to get into when I get to my number 1 show as well. But that said, number 4, and this is what I'm currently covering, you guys. Welcome to Derry. This is on HBO, and okay, first I'm going to start by saying you don't need to be familiar with Stephen King's IP in order to watch and appreciate the show. I think if you are, great, it helps. It's more directly related to It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, which were from 2017 and 2019. And I did watch those. I watched the miniseries like back when it first came out, and honestly don't have a big recollection of that. But I didn't read the book, and I'm doing just fine. Loving the series. There are a lot of Easter eggs, though. Like, obviously I'm kind of out there searching on the internet for discourse on it, but there are a lot of tie-ins. And actually, there's somebody that just put out a list of all the Stephen King shows and movies you should watch in order to get the most appreciation of it. And actually, Castle Rock is last on the list. The Institute is not on that list, but actually I should mention I covered The Institute here. It was on MGM Plus. There's 1 season coming back for season 2. And that features kids who have the Shining power. And the Shining is connected to It Welcome to Derry. Dick Halloran from the movie The Shining is a character here. And we're getting more world building and lore on that character. But there's a lot of different connections tangentially to other Stephen King works as well, for anybody who is very much in that universe. But I will just tell you, so it took a while to get Pennywise on our screens, and at first I'm like, oh my gosh, where's Pennywise, blah, blah, blah. It's fine. This is done so well. I love this show. All of the actors, there's a bunch of kid actors who are just absolutely nailing it. Episode 7 had one of the most gutting scenes of television this entire season. It's called The Black Spot Fire, and oh my God, I'm like still upset about this because it was just so tragic. But also Madeline Stowe is in this show. She used to be on Revenge on ABC from like 2011 through 2015. She played the baddie Victoria, and she has a role here. I'm not going to say too much about it because if you haven't watched, I really don't want to give anything away. But if you liked Revenge, you will appreciate her here. Let's see. So, okay, so Kata, I don't know I don't know how to pronounce your name. I don't want to slaughter it. I'm sorry. So Khalifa Khan, I believe is how you say it. The past episode was one of the best episodes I've seen this year. 100%. And you know what? Spoiler alert, it is on one of my best episodes of the year as well. From top to bottom, from the horror, from the psychological aspects to the existing lore in this universe, just the emotional impact of the fire, the fallout from the fire, the Pennywise of it all. I mean, the show's got everything. It's got horror, some incredibly gruesome scenes, which I thought would land on my top scenes of the year as well. The pickle monster, the mom monster, the pilot episode. I mean, this show is giving everything. The friendship, the family connections. I mean, also, if you like Stranger Things, you've got to look into this show as well. I think they both sort of like spitballed off each other a little bit. There's definitely a lot of similarities. Obviously, Stephen King came first. But I also think that Welcome to Derry is borrowing some elements from Stranger Things. But also, one of the Stranger Things actors is in one of the Welcome to Derry Chapter 2, I believe. So there is some actual like real life crossover there too, which is interesting. And again, I already saw episode 8, and let me tell you, it builds even more on the lore and this universe. It confirms some fan theories that are out there, and everybody is in for such a treat this year. Christina says, I watch all the recaps of Welcome to Derry. I can't understand the Stephen King universe. It's too much. You know, I get that. I mean, it's very horror driven, right? It's about like a cosmic entity clown, and that's not for everybody. But for me, for somebody who really gravitates towards dark television, horror, and that genre, I love it. But it's also the kids' storyline. There's also a military storyline. James Remar from Dexter Resurrection, Dexter's dad, Harry, is in this show, and he plays this military commander, Shaw. But I mean, I can't say enough. And I obviously talk about TV in my real life to people, you know, when I'm out in the world. And this is one that I've been telling people, like, check it out, even if you don't like horror or Stephen King, because really the story is great. They tell you everything you need to know, even if, you know, you haven't read the book. But that said, Chris Chalk is killing it. Yes, Chris Chalk is killing it. He plays Dick Halloran. Absolutely phenomenal performance, and getting more background on him. I've got to rewatch The Shining, actually, and I'm thinking about actually reading the book now, because Welcome to Derry should be 3 seasons. It's actually telling the story backwards. This is the 1962 season. Next will be 1935, and then 1908. And Episode 8 will get more into why they're telling the story backwards and why it makes sense. And it's just so smart. That's one of the things I love about it the most. The formula that they're enlisting in order to tell this story and the way they're doing it, like, so good. Love the show. And again, so that's number 4. Really good on HBO. Welcome to Derry. Don't miss it. And also, okay, thank you so much. It's okay, my name is difficult. No worries, you're awesome. Thank you so much. You're awesome for being here. I really appreciate it. I love doing these live streams. I don't do a lot of them. And like I said at the top of the video, also follow me on Instagram at Media Melanie, because I do lives on Fridays called Weekend Watch, like casual thing, what I'm watching, recommendations, and that sort of thing. So Christina said also, I love watching the Pennywise dancing videos on TikTok. I love everything about Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård is an absolute delight in this role. And we get a lot of Bob Gray lore, which is the human incarnation of Pennywise as well. Just incredible. Never thought I would be so up on a clown. I mean, it's a clown, but whew, the show is giving and firing on like literally every single cylinder. So let's see. Yes, there are a lot of storylines within the show. Politics, race relations, family dynamics. You know, I didn't even get into the race of it all. I mean, it's 1962 in Derry, Maine, which is a small town, and there are some African-American characters there, and, you know, they're going through some struggles, which is a sign of the times, unfortunately. But the way that they are relating those storylines into what's happening is just incredibly well done. Like I said, it is a horror show, but it gets into just so much more, the layers. It's got depth. It's not just a show about a dancing clown, trust me. And let's see. Gerald's Game was King's best book. The movie was horrible. You know what? I didn't read the book and actually haven't seen the movie, but I've heard that the movie was like really scary and crazy. I don't know, but that actually makes me want to read Gerald's Game. So thank you for that. Now, I also posed the question, have you read The Institute? Because that's another Stephen King book. The show's on MGM Plus, as I mentioned. And I really liked the first season. I think it was good. It's got Mary Louise Parker from Weeds. I mean, I loved the show Weeds when that was on the air. So, definitely recommend The Institute as well. But now we're getting into top 3 territory, you guys. Okay, so before I do number 3, cheers. Okay. Let's see. Let's get my number 3 picture up here. Okay. Severance on Apple TV Plus. It's probably not a shocker. It's on my list. I did cover that show here with theory videos during the season, and it's just such a novel premise. And while I do think season 1 might be like slightly better than season 2, it's a mind F. I love all of the characters here. Mark and Helly pictured here with the goats. This is a psychological workplace drama kind of thriller, I suppose. Basically, the concept is there's innies and there's outies. People are able to get severed, which means they have their work self and their home self. When they leave their work building, they are back to their home self with no recollection of what happened at work that day, and vice versa. They show up to work with no idea of who they are in the outside world. Like, do they have families? Do they have significant others? What's their story? So figuring out the innie and outie of it all, and just the psychology of if you had the opportunity to get this severed procedure, would you do it? I mean, I feel like a lot of these characters are grounded somewhat in trauma, which maybe leads them to make that decision. But there were so many things this season. There was an episode called Ortbo, where they have this outdoor excursion situation. John Turturro was in this season. Zach Cherry stars. The show it's a mind F, because you're sort of thinking like, what is actually like the bigger picture at hand here? And there is Patricia Arquette's character. She plays a manager, and there's an episode this season that gets more into her background and the background in general of this world, which is very nondescript. I believe it takes place in the early 2020s, based on a picture of a license that I think we see once. But it's a strange time because it's not super technological. There's a lot of analog technology, and it's just a strange world with strange things happening. And at the heart of it all, it is a mystery, it is a drama, it is very psychological, and I think this is probably one that's on many people's top lists of the year. I was struggling where to put it, because again, I just had such a hard time even narrowing it down to 10, and even just like ranking them in order was difficult. But Severance was an exceptional season of television. I highly recommend it. I do think there are some people out there, it might not be for them, but for everybody who appreciates a very thoughtfully done show. Ben Stiller was actually helming this show, and I believe is now stepping back for season 3. So I'm also curious to see how exactly that will come into play. And also, when will we even get season 3? Because this show is one of them that takes forever. And I think season 2 was a product of different delays and strikes and COVID and whatnot. But I'm hoping they can bring it back like a little bit faster, even if it's not 2026, like early 2027, please. We'll see what happens with that. But wow. Gwendolyn Christie was also in this season as well. She had a part related to the goats in there. But Severance was exceptional. My notes say, what a mind F of a show was my biggest takeaway from that. But highly entertaining. You're waiting every week, like dying to know what happened. And I think a lot of people who were watching it in real time week to week were like, oh, this is a little bit slow. The pacing, could be faster. But I think if you look at it and you were to rewatch it as a binge, just seeing how everything connects and builds, I mean, it worked for me. It's my top 3 show, so that's kind of where I'm at. And like we're saying in the comments, yeah, good shows take time to make, but it's so good. I can't wait. I'm glad to see that show is also resonating with you guys. So that is good to hear. And of course, I will be back to cover it when it does return. Who knows when that will be, though. Okay, number 2, Adolescence on Netflix. Whew. This one is a doozy, you guys. All right, first, before we get into that, Christina's saying, I lose interest when it takes too long. I totally see that. It's hard to stay vested in shows and characters, and it makes you extra, maybe having a little bit more affinity to the shows that are able to return faster, that sort of stay top to mind and don't just like disappear in the depths of your TV brain. Because, I don't know, if you watch TV like I do, there's a lot of shows to keep track of, and it's hard to even like keep it on the forefront of your radar. So I hear you 100%. But Adolescence. Okay, so this was a 4-episode show. It's still sitting with me. The basic premise is there is a young boy who is accused of a crime against one of his classmates, and it tells the story a little bit differently. It tells the story more from the victim's family than from or it tells the story more of the accused's family instead of telling it from the victim perspective. And I think just that perspective in general was really interesting to me. But from a cinematic standpoint, what I really enjoyed about the show was the one shot. So, especially working in production, each episode was shot all in one take. That's right. I said one take. It's a oneer. They seamlessly film an entire episode in one take, and just watching some of the behind the scenes, how they're able to capture that. For instance, a student jumping out of a classroom window and then being able to pick up on the outside of the window seamlessly and make it happen. There was an interview with Stephen Graham, who plays the dad of Jamie here and also is the creator of the show. And actually, he got nominated for an Emmy and actually may have won it. Or Owen Cooper, who played Jamie here in the show, he actually did win an Emmy. I believe he's the youngest male ever in a limited series to win one. And hats off to him, because his performance was just absolutely incredible. But each episode, they film 4 times the complete run through. And then from what I understand, they typically take the first run through, which is kind of interesting. But just to be able to pull that off from a cinematic and production standpoint is remarkable. But also just the heaviness of this show and 13-year-olds. I have a 13-year-old son, and thinking about this incel culture, which they get into, and the internet and social media and what kids are exposed to, and how we think as parents that we're trying to do our best out here in a world where there are so many outside influences and just terrible things, basically, and how that could possibly manifest in behaviors that are criminal. So I don't know. I mean, this show still sits heavy with me. It is definitely not a happy show. You have to be in the right frame of mind to watch it. But yeah, okay, yeah, so that he did win the Emmy, the guy that played the dad, yeah, Stephen Graham. And then Owen Cooper won it as well, and I believe Adolescence won for limited series. But what's interesting is, I'll get into the Golden Globes, but they have Owen Cooper in a category with just Best Actor in all of TV versus limited series. I just think there's no limited series category, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wins. I think his performance was exceptional, and this was actually like one of his first major roles. I think he had just like taken some acting classes, but to come out of the gates like that, this kid is going to be a working actor for the rest of his life, and very well deserved. This show is something that all parents should watch, especially parents in the tween and teen range, because it really gives you perspective on what we allow our kids to see and the internet and, you know, just decisions that are made. Incredible episode of television. And honestly, like, I consider putting this at number 1, but my number 1 show is one that I just could not stop gushing about all year. It's like giving me goosebumps even to talk about it. I am so excited. But before I get into the number 1 show, I would just like to get into some of the comments here. Okay, Christina says, in my opinion, Yellow Jackets is the best show ever. Reminds me of how I felt about Lost until the very last episode. You know what? I love Yellow Jackets. I used to do a whole podcast on it on a different channel, and I love the two timelines. I think for me, also being a 90s girl, getting that 90s nostalgia in the wilderness timeline, I definitely gravitate more towards the wilderness timeline, which is interesting because I'm a middle-aged woman and I should be more relatable, I guess, to the adults. But Melanie Linsky, Lauren Ambrose, I mean, the cast of the show, Juliette Lewis is no longer there. It is a great show, and I do think season 1 came out of the gate so strong with this mystery. It does totally give Lost vibes, and again, I'm just really hoping they're able to wrap up season 4 in a good way. And I do think there were some stumbles in season 2, and the first half of season 3 for me took me a little while, but by the end of season 3, that final episode, I like stood up off the couch and was like, finally, and we're getting some answers, and just, I mean, I can't wait for that show to come back. All right, and then Brianna Jasmine is saying, Christina, I quit Yellow Jackets, but you're making me reconsider. Honestly, you should reconsider, because if you liked season 1, if you can get through some episodes that maybe aren't the strongest and get to the end of episode 3, it will bring you back to that season 1 energy, and I think give you a renewed and refreshed interest in the show. So I recommend it, and again, I will cover season 4 here on the channel. I can't wait. Christina says Yellow Jackets is like none other, and you won't regret it, and Brianna says, okay, it's going back on my list. And Christina says, I love both timelines. And I will say there's stuff I like about both timelines, just if I'm ranking, probably the wilderness a little bit more. And it's interesting, in my School Spirits video, I talked about whether or not people prefer the afterlife timeline or the living friends timeline. And I'm more into the ghosts. And I think a lot of that is because there are spirits from all different eras and decades. And for me, that just gives it a little bit more depth and multi-generational appeal. But like Yellow Jackets, having both timelines, I think also opens it up to both younger and older viewers. So I think the show also does do that well in general. Okay. Brianna, I'll trust y'all. I'm about to be out of shows. Well, if you need some suggestions, drop a couple of your favorite shows in the comments, and then after the live, I'm going to respond with some recommendations. I love being a TV matchmaker. I don't know. I mean, if you're into like the young adult type of stuff, though, and book adaptations, Heated Rivalry, everyone's talking about it. It's the gay hockey romance show. And I think it's meant to be very salacious and smutty and whatnot. But I mean, honestly, like the story is so well told. It gets into themes of what it's like to be queer in a world where maybe it's not quite as accepted if you're, you know, a public figure and that sort of thing. But also, I don't know, I appreciate the eye candy. I'm just going to say it. And also one of the actors plays a Russian hockey player, and he's from Texas, and his accent, I literally thought the guy was Russian. Like, so good. Heated Rivalry. But yeah, seriously, Brianna, like drop in the comments some of your general favorite shows, and I will give you some more. So, and that goes for anybody. Love that. And the Ghost Gang. You know what? The Ghost Gang is so good. How could you not like Wally Clark and Charlie and Yuri and Rhonda and Janet and Mr. Martin? I mean, you guys, if you're not watching School Spirits, you've got to get on that before it premieres on January 28th. Like, seriously, get on it. Oh, Ghost on CBS. Okay. I could maybe get into that. Shining Vale is another one. It's got 2 seasons. I think it's on HBO. Courtney Cox, Greg Kinnear. It's got kind of a ghosty, supernatural-ish element to it as well. And then also, oh gosh, I was just thinking of another one. It left my head. Anyway, middle-aged mom brain, whatever. There we go. Brianna's also saying, ooh, TV matchmaker. I love young adult, dystopian, rewatching The 100 right now, and/or The Penguin in Paradise. Oh, Paradise, so good. And if you like the young adult stuff as well, The Buccaneers on Apple TV Plus has this young, modern feel to it, even though it's like an 1890s thing. It's adapted from Edith Wharton's unfinished novel. It's got 2 seasons. Season 3 will be coming back again. Obviously, like The Summer I Turned Pretty. Maxton Hall is another young adult teen one. It actually, it airs on Prime Video, but it is a German show. I actually watch it in German with the English subtitles because I watched season 1 in English and with the dubbing, and it just does not do the show justice. You actually have to watch it in German. But also another one, if you like kind of these like dystopian shows, check out Dark on Netflix. It's an older show. It involves time travel, but also just the storytelling, the complexity. It's a smart show. It's got some sci-fi elements to it. One of my favorite shows, literally, of all time. And along with that, the OA, which also stars Patrick Gibson, who played young Dexter in Dexter Original Sin. So just a couple recommendations off the top of my head, but I will get back to your comment later, I promise. Okay, and because of Peter Dinklage, Christina just watched Game of Thrones. Now, I'm going to admit something, you guys. As a TV reviewer, I've never watched Game of Thrones, haven't watched Yellowstone. There's a couple other big shows that I just haven't watched. I don't love period pieces, but from what I'm told, I have to watch Game of Thrones. So, okay. And I agree. Peter Dinklage, absolute masterpiece of a performance in Dexter Resurrection. So you know what? Maybe I will finally watch Game of Thrones, but I also pose this question to you out in the comment world. What are some shows that are big that everybody talks about, everybody watches that you've never watched before? Because let me tell you, I've actually got a few of them. The Wire is another one. And also a lot of 90s shows. I never watched One Tree Hill. There were limitations I had with my TV watching time when I was younger, and I did prioritize recording 90210 on my VCR, but I missed out on a lot of those shows. I never finished Gilmore Girls or Buffy. I know. Oh my gosh. That is me cowering in embarrassment. But to that point, okay, I will probably watch Game of Thrones eventually. And Brianna is saying, I've heard Dark is good. My sister made me watch the OA. It's so trippy. It should have been renewed for a third season. Disappointing that it wasn't, but still a great story. Okay, so you've heard Dark is good, but you haven't watched it. Okay, watch Dark. Seriously. And there's also a companion Netflix family tree guide that you can use while you're watching, because once you get to the end of season 1, you're going to need it. Trust me. But 3 seasons, blew me away. I watched it twice. First, I watched it in English. It's also a German show. The second time I watched in German, better in German. As the comments are saying, I watch everything with closed captions, and shows are always better in their native language with closed captions. Fully agree. I also just keep captions on in general because I'm getting older. My kids tell me I don't hear well. I talk really loud because I think I don't hear well. But I also just need captions, especially for British shows. I don't know, I have trouble understanding, but whatever, it is what it is. And Brianna's saying too, Gilmore Girls, Friends, One Tree Hill, 90210. I love 90210. A little plug here. I used to produce the Beverly Hills 90210 show with Pete Ferrero, Charles Rosen, and Larry Mullen. And the latter two were initially producers and writers for Beverly Hills 90210. I became friendly with them. I got to go to a Dodgers game with them, interviewed Larry here on the channel. I love 90210. It's definitely one of my top, nostalgic TV shows of all time. So, and you know what? A lot of the storylines actually still stand the test of time. I was a Dylan and Brenda girl, Team Brenda forever. And also, may you rest in peace, Shannon Doherty and Luke Perry. So sad that they are gone. We have more people never watched The Sopranos or The Wire. I love The Sopranos, didn't watch The Wire. It is what it is. Christina says, never watched Walking Dead. I actually started it and I didn't finish it. I just lost interest. Oh, Breaking Bad. You've got to watch Breaking Bad, though. And then if you like Breaking Bad, you should be watching Pluribus, as that was my number 10 show here. But back to my number 1 show here, you guys. Dun, 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 dun! Drum roll. Hold on. Okay, so my number 1 show of the year. So I did not work on the 90210 reboot or the original, but I was producing the podcast, the Beverly Hills 90210 show, which is the biggest one out there for 90210, but it's hosted by Pete Ferrero, who's a documentarian, but it's also with Charles Rosen and Larry Mullen, and they actually worked on the show as producers and writers. So it was very much getting firsthand knowledge and experience and behind the scenes and, little tidbits about what it was like to work on the show. So I wish I worked on the show, but I did work on a podcast, got to be on some episodes with a lot of the cast. We did a cast reunion for the 30th anniversary. We did something called America's Zip Code. We brought a fan from every state on. We did Planet 90210, bringing a fan from different countries around the world on because the show is still so beloved. But I've been able to meet virtually Brian Austin Green and Tori Spelling and Jason Priestley, a bunch of the other actors on the show. Jamie Walters, he came on and sang Hold On, blew my mind. Absolutely incredible. But You should also subscribe to that show if you like 90210. But yes, okay. So yeah, happy to clarify that. To number one. All right, you guys. Without further ado, dun, 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 The Pitt on HBO. Hands down my favorite show of the year for so many different reasons. Now, there was a lot of buzz around the Emmys saying, why is The Pitt winning all these awards when Severance is so original and there's been medical dramas done before? Okay, I get it. But there has not been a medical drama done like this. First of all, if you haven't watched it, it is a formula that is very unique. It's like 24 meets ER. So each season is 15 episodes. And first of all, like 15 episodes, speaking my language, and also coming out yearly. We got it in January of 2025. It's coming back next month, January 2026. I'm probably going to be covering it here on the channel, but each season is 15 episodes. Each episode represents 1 hour of a shift in the emergency room. So by the end of the season, you get 15 episodes, essentially 15 hours in one day of a medical worker's life. And I watch this week to week. I haven't rewatched it, but I've also heard if you're binging it, it's like a completely different experience. And either way, I mean, it's great. I'm probably going to rewatch it, but I laughed, I cried. There were some extremely graphic things on this show, so if you're squeamish about blood and things, might not be for you. But there were also just some overarching storylines. There was, I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't watched it, but there was a big event that occurred that played very heavily into a few of the episodes later in the season. And it just, I mean, it got me. I was crying. Noah Wyle stars in the show. He won Best Actor in a Drama. The Pitt won Best Drama at the Emmys. Of course, it's nominated in the Golden Globes. But one of my biggest snubs for the Emmys was Dr. Mel King, who's played by Taylor Dearden, who is actually Bryan Cranston's daughter. Obviously, Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. She gave such a standout performance. She plays kind of like a neurodivergent character, but she is so endearing. She has this compassionate nature. And I always ask myself, if I could pick one doctor from the Pitt to be my doctor, who would it be? And as much as I would love Dr. Robbie, Noah Wyle's character, treating me, something about Dr. King just really resonated to me, and she didn't get nominated, but Nurse Dana, another character on the show, she did, and I mean, the show got a lot of recognition, which I'm super happy about, but I just thought that this character brought so much to the show. I can't wait to see what she does in season 2, but again, like Welcome to Derry, yes, on the surface, it's a horror show, and on the surface, this is a medical show, but when you peel back the layers with the storytelling and the drama, the way that they weave these plots together, and just the general formula of it and how they can incorporate so many storylines, especially ones that are very now, like current events. They had a storyline on vaccinations, which I thought was very well told and interesting. There were so many. There was a birth. I mean, I'm talking a birth, but so many other things as well, that if there's one show I was gushing about to literally anybody this year, like I said at work, people are like, oh, what's the best show? What's the best show? The Pitt was my answer every single time. And that's been since January. And even back in January, I said to myself, you know what, this is probably going to be my top show of the year. I knew it then. I know it now. Watching all these other shows, I mean, they are good in their own rights, but something about The Pitt just hit that emotional chord in me where I have not loved a television show this much in a long time. I mean, okay, I love a lot of television shows for sure, but The Pitt, outstanding, deserves every single award it gets. And yeah, Severance is good too. It's in my top 3, but I don't know, just you guys, The Pitt was absolutely incredible. And yes, season 2 is coming soon, coming out next month. It's going to be another 15 episodes. And this one takes place after the 4th of July. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, are there going to be like fireworks accidents? Like what exactly is that going to mean? But yeah, just outstanding. I cannot come up with enough positive adjectives about how much I like that show. Brianna saying I love The Pit, and Christina saying like 24 was, yeah, it's like 24 except a medical drama. But really what works so well about that formula is the fact that it really gives you the context of what it's like just to work one shift of all the days these medical workers spend in hospitals doing whatever, department that they're in. By the end of the 15 episodes, so much has happened and so many stories have been told. And it just blows my mind that is literally one shift, one day in the life. And there are so many other days, out of the year that happen. So I just was blown away at the premise, the formula of the show, everything about it. Honestly, I loved ER back in the day. I mean, if we can get George Clooney to appear here in The Pit, I would also have zero complaints. And for anyone who watched The Pit, did you watch ER? Were you an ER person? I wonder for younger people rewatching ER, does it still stand the test of time? Because that show back when it first came out was the preeminent show of the time. It was incredible. And I think actually The Pit does it better. And what's interesting is there was some contention within the Michael Crichton estate because they owned the ER rights, and because John Wells did ER, and this is also a John Wells production, there were some legality situations. But in my opinion, I think it's completely different from ER. It has like some of the DNA to it, but this does it differently, and I think at least it does it better. So. See, got some love in the comments. Yes, loved ER. I'm 52 years old. ER was so good, but I do think The Pit's better. I don't know. What do you think? Drop it in the comments and let me know. All right, so that was my number one show, you guys. I still have a lot more coming in the video, though, so 1 sec. I'm going to get a drink of water here. But also, if you want, gosh, I guess I should figure out which way. Okay, there we go. I've got a QR code up in the corner here. You can scan that, or you can visit the pinned comment if you want to shop some of my merch. Like I said, it's an easy way to support the TV content creators you love. Get something for yourself or friends. Got this cute Powered by TV design. I did show my hoodie at the top, but Stream Me Up, very cute. And also YouTube has this new shopping thing where I can actually like place shoppable products at the bottom of videos. I don't know if I can go back and do it for a live. It's a new feature I haven't tried for lives yet. I do it in my regular videos. But also I got sent a sample. YouTube shopping is like a newer thing and a company sent me something. So also Bernie's OMG Omegas. Now, if you watch the channel, you know I have pets. I have 2 dogs. I have a cat. And they love these treats. I was kind of like surprised. Let's see, there we go. Kind of surprised to get them, but it's good for the skin and coat. One of my dogs actually has allergies, so I found that it's sort of like helping the general condition of his skin. But the important part is that they love them. These are clean ingredients. It's made in the USA. I'm going to put a link to this down in the comments as well for any pet lovers out there if you need a pet stocking stuffer. So just a little bit of business here. Taking another sip. And yes, thank you. That's so cute. You know what? I do most of the designs in my shop. That one I actually had somebody make because it was a little beyond my like design capabilities, but I love it. Stream Me Up. I think it's very cute. I'm a girl that loves aliens and UFOs, so I mean, I just thought that was cool. But I've got to say, I never finished X-Files either, if we're talking about shows that are very popular that we have not watched. And here's the thing. It's impossible to watch every single show that there is in the world, which is disappointing, but at the same time, a testament to how much of an art form television is. And one of the things I like most about talking about it as well is we can all watch the same exact thing on our screens and have vastly different reactions and feelings about it. And for that reason, it really is a true art form. Not only can somebody, first of all, conceive an idea, bring it to life on our screens, but then the reactions that us as viewers have watching it. I love discourse about television. We may not always agree on characters we like, relationships in shows, or whatever, but just having meaningful, healthy, and respectful conversations about them, I think is great. There's nothing worse than like these toxic fandoms with all of the infighting over ships and all this nonsense. Like, come on, let's just be people who talk about things in like a normal and productive way. So I'll let it slide on the Yellow Jackets snub. Yes, you know what? Here's the thing. Yellow Jackets is on my list of honorable mentions. And actually, and it's not because I don't love the show. I just think in terms of like the seasons, if it was season 1, it would have been in my top 3, like 100%. But because half of the season for me didn't resonate quite as strongly as the first 2, for that reason, it gets an honorable mention. So, no shade. I mean, I love the show. I'm going to be back to cover it. So thank you for letting that slide. I appreciate it. Hearts. But getting into the honorable mentions, Yellow Jackets was on the list, but also Department Q. This was a Netflix British show. It was very funny. It focused on solving a case. It was a little bit on the slower side, which made me not end up putting it on the list, but I enjoyed the characters. I think there were some very unique characters in the show, and if you like these sort of British investigative shows, give Department Q a look on Netflix. It is coming back for a second season. Platonic, I already mentioned. I ended up putting The Studio on there as my big comedy of the year, but season 2 was really entertaining. Any show that can make me laugh out loud, I think, deserves at least a mention here. The Beast in Me on Netflix, starring Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys. That recently came out, and limited series. I binged that thing so fast. It was almost like watching The Americans and Homeland again with these 2 actors. Like, Claire Danes has not lost that quivering jaw. I can't even make my jaw quiver. The fact she can like quiver her jaw so well. I mean, I love Claire Danes. She's great in pretty much, everything that she's in. Actually, I've been rewatching My So-Called Life on Patreon as well. That show is a teen drama I love from the 90s. 1 season, 19 episodes on ABC, and it doesn't get quite as much love as some of the other 90s teen dramas. Let's see. Okay, address this comment quick. Very well said. Just because we have different ideas about something doesn't mean we can't still be friends and discuss stuff. 100%. I think it's all about how we approach things and the respect we use when talking to each other. Like, seriously, there's nothing worse than people fighting in comments. I don't tolerate it in my comments. I'm all about conversations, but I am not about attacking people for what they think. It is an art form, and for that reason, we are all entitled to our opinions, like, no matter what, even if we don't agree. Like, we can still be friends, 100%. Slow Horses. You know what? Actually, I was going to put Slow Horses on the list as well. But I will say, actually, this season was great. I definitely liked it a lot more than last season. I think the problem is, like, there's just so many shows this year. So I do have Slow Horses on the list, but also Down Cemetery Road, which is another Apple TV show. And actually, it's by the same author as Slow Horses, Mick Herron. It stars Ruth Wilson, Emma Thompson. I just watched the finale. I didn't put that on my list, though, because there were a couple episodes in the middle there where I found myself scrolling on my phone, and that's always an indicator to me of, maybe not worth a top 10 spot, but still highly entertaining. Like, I definitely recommend it. So yeah, Slow Horses and Down Cemetery Road, like, very similar in that nature, given they're by the same author. So both of them earned a mention on honorable mentions. Paradise, loved it. Sterling K. Brown, James Marsden. I'm not going to say much about it because after the first episode, you get a big reveal. I think it was very well done. That is also coming back for a second season. I believe February. I'll have to look that up, but early 2026. The Morning Show. Never have had that on my top lists of the year, but I will say that the storyline this season was quite compelling. It was highly entertaining. It was very focused on Bradley Jackson, who is Reese Witherspoon's character, and there was a lot of scandal in the mix. Highly enjoyed it, just not like quite enough to put on my list. Also, I noticed like nobody was talking about The Morning Show either, which I found interesting because for me, it was probably one of the best seasons. We did get some John Hamm in there, and I'm here for the ham. If you watch me on the channel, you know this. Like, oh my God, Mad Men, one of my favorite shows. He's just such a tall drink of water, so... Spoon. The Hunting Wives, another one on Netflix. That one was very salacious, one that kind of surprised me. I liked it. And it was entertaining, but not to the point where I'm like, okay, I have to put it on the list. But it is coming back for a second season. There was a similar show on Netflix, not on my honorable mention list, called The Waterfront, which starred one of the cast of Mindhunter and also Animal Kingdom. That was entertaining, but it got canceled, so I'm not going to recommend watching it. It was good first season of television, but I always get turned off when it gets canceled, unless it's like the OA, which is still a show you should watch, even though it got canceled. Still may come back at some point as well. Let's see. My wife is watching The Beast in Me. She loved it. I need to check it out. Absolutely. And if you like Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys, 100%. Matthew Rhys was also in Brothers and Sisters, which is a show I loved. I believe ABC, early 2000s, around the same time as Parenthood, which was also an amazing show. But yeah, it was very much a psychological thriller, and very much one where you're kept questioning, like, is this guy a bad guy? Is he not? Like, how was this all connected? Very much psychological thriller. Simultaneously, there was another show on Prime Video called Malice, starring David Duchovny, another sort of like psychological thriller. The Beast in Me did it better, so I'll just say that. The Girlfriend is another show on Prime Video, sort of a psychological thriller. This girlfriend comes onto the scene, and the mom is like questioning her motives, and we're questioning her motives as well. And interestingly, I believe that show got nominated for a Golden Globe. So anyway, I digress a little bit. But also Heated Rivalry was the last one on there. So Heated Rivalry is the hockey show I'm covering right now. It is based on the Rachel Reed Game Changer series. It is a gay hockey romance. It borders on softcore at times, but the emotional appeal, the storytelling, the bigger theme of what it is like to be queer in the hockey world, and you know what that means in terms of relationships. And for the Yellow Jackets fans out there, as I said, Francois Arnaud, who played Coach Ben's boyfriend in Yellow Jackets in that show. But the episode this week, episode 4, called Rose. Sophie, Nalise, young Shauna, about to enter the scene. This next episode is going to be very focused on her. I'm not sure if she's in episodes for the rest of the season as well. There are only 6 in total. And IMDb only had her, actually didn't have any of her episodes down. They may have changed it now that they have been talking about episode 4. But, let's see, more comments quickly. All respect here. I'm just obsessed with Yellow Jackets. To me, it gets better and better, but I can see your point too. Hey, thank you. And I'm not saying it's a bad show. I mean, I have very high hopes for season 4 and the way they wrap it up. So I'm very excited, and thank you for, not judging me too harshly. And Brianna said, you were the only person covering Your Friends and Neighbors. Thank you for your service. You are so welcome. So that show is also coming back in April. I mean, I love John Hamm. Also had the opportunity to interview Lena Hall, who plays John Hamm's sister Allie on the show. She was fantastic. She actually plays a lot of music on the show, so we talked about her process for that. Loved it. I would say overall, I don't know, I guess I was expecting maybe more from it because it was renewed for a second season before season 1 even aired. So I'm still kind of on the fence if I'm going to come back and cover it. But hey, if people liked my coverage, thank you. And yeah, I'm definitely going to consider it. But I think it's an interesting premise. It's a hedge fund guy, gets fired from his job and turns to a life of crime, and then all the dynamics that come with that when you're living in a wealthy neighborhood and robbing your neighbors. So it was a lot of fun. I had fun covering it. So again, I'll see if I come back to cover it for season 2. But yeah, it was good. It wasn't the best. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't like a top 10 show for me at all, obviously. I didn't even put it on honorable mentions, but there are also so many other shows that I've either covered or watched this year that, I mean, I could honestly keep the list going. I could do a top 50 shows, honestly. I mean, if I look at my watch list of all the shows I've actually seen this year, like so many shows, absolutely incredible. And yeah, nice background watch. And we all need that kind of like folding laundry show, if you will, right? So that did check that box very well. Okay. Oh my gosh, I've been live for an hour and 30 minutes. So actually that said, hey, there's the super chats in there. I've only received a couple of them ever since I've started YouTubing in 2024. If you feel so inclined to drop one, that would be awesome. Of course, I don't expect that ever, because just you like being here, subscribing, liking, commenting, like I said, it all just helps the algorithm of it all, and it also just helps like show your support, which I appreciate, and really validates what I'm doing here, because I think anybody who's a creative or a creator of any type is always like questioning themselves. Am I doing a good job? Like, what could I have done better? You better believe a lot of times I'll sit at night and like recap a video I put out in my mind, or like this live stream. I'm sure I'll be sitting there tonight like, oh my gosh, I was talking so fast and I missed this, or blah, 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 whatever. But I think that's part of the process, is being self-aware and just keeping trying to improve, like getting 1% better with each thing that you create. So that's kind of like the path that I guess I've been on. But again, there's nothing more exciting than having the prospect of talking about TV full time. And, I'm on that road and that journey. So I just, like the ticker at the bottom of the screen says, thank you to everyone who's tuned in this year. I'm just like endlessly grateful. But that said, I also wanted to get into just a couple of other topics here. So first of all, there were a couple of documentaries this year that I didn't put on the list that I thought I should mention. First one, Pee-wee as himself on HBO. It was 2 episodes, and it's about Paul Reubens, who played Pee-wee Herman. And this show really helped shift my perspective on how media discourse can really change a narrative of something that goes on. Like, obviously, Paul Reubens got caught doing something that wasn't looked upon great in the public realm, but diving into the documentary really gives more of his perspective and how the story was skewed in the media, and how he was basically like a closeted gay man in Hollywood, and what that meant, and how it impacted his journey, and ultimately when he did get in trouble. So I highly recommend that. I was a big Pee-wee Herman watcher when I was younger. If you've ever watched Pee-wee Herman or like Paul Reubens, I honestly cannot recommend that enough. It totally shifted my perspective on him. And I think any documentary that can do that, especially after somebody that has been in the media in a certain way, is just very well done. So that, and also The Perfect Neighbor. So what I loved about that, it's basically about this woman. She's a complete Karen in Florida, I believe it takes place. And she's got all these kids that live in her neighborhood. It's a true story. And she doesn't like the kids playing on her lawn, like literally like, get off my lawn, whatever. But the way that the story is told is through police body cam footage and police footage, and seeing the story that way through the lens of law enforcement and how they perceived the situation. And unfortunately, there was a big tragic event that happened. I'm not going to spoil it, but The Perfect Neighbor, it's on Netflix. Highly recommend, especially if you like true crime and documentaries and that sort of thing. So don't miss that. And also just some of my best episodes of the year. Okay, so Paradise episode 7. I loved Paradise. I covered it. I'm going to cover season 2. Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us, just amazing. This is a Dan Fogelman show, who also created This Is Us. But episode 7 was really focused on James Marsden. He played the president, and he gave one of the most impactful speeches on television fictionally that I've ever watched. And that episode still sits with me as one of the best episodes of the year. And actually, so I've got some validation here. Both great docs. I watched them both. They really were. And actually, there's a lot of other docs out there I haven't watched, like the Charlie Sheen one. I believe there's a Billy Joel one people have been talking about. They're on my list, but my watch list is just like endlessly growing. So we will see when I end up getting to that. But also, Welcome to Derry episode 7, The Black Spot, The Fire. I will say episode 8 is probably like right there along with it for me. Obviously, that hasn't streamed yet, but honestly, Welcome to Derry had so many good episodes. I mean, like, I could extract a few, but also Dexter Resurrection episode 4. So that was the one where we met Peter Dinklage and some of the guest stars, and I loved everything about that episode. I think it was great. Best performances of the year. Tom Pelphrey as Robbie Prendergast in Task. Again, devastated he didn't get a look at the Golden Globes. He could tell stories with his eyes that just say so much without words, and the way he portrayed this anti-hero, absolutely stellar performance. And I'm disappointed because I feel like, actually, I'm not going to say anything else about it because I don't want to spoil it, but he deserves some kind of love, and hopefully when the Emmys come around, Tom Pelphrey will get some recognition. I already mentioned Taylor Dearden, who played Dr. Mel King in The Pit. I loved everything about her character. Something about her compassion really resonated with me, and I'm excited to see her storyline and arc in season 2. Owen Cooper, who played Jamie Miller in Adolescence, which was obviously in my top 3. Quite a young man to not have a lot of acting experience and go in to play a role like this the way he did. Again, this is going to be a working actor who will always have this as a breakout performance. And just props to any young person who is able to give such a performance like that. I mean, a lot of times with actors, it comes with age, but even seeing like some of the kids in It, Welcome to Derry, Lily Bainbridge's character, played by Clara Stack, I believe is the actress's name. I mean, the stories this girl tells on her face, there are so many young, talented actors out there, and hopefully they're not all going to get replaced by freaking AI at some point, because, like, you know, don't love the way that's going. Charlie Hunnam as Ed Gein. Now, I will say Ed Gein, Monster in general, was probably one of my least favorite shows of the year because they took a lot of creative liberties. It's a Ryan Murphy show. And yes, I get it. They fictionalized a lot of it. But at the same time, I don't get it because it's based on a real life killer. And Morbid actually has a podcast on it. The Morbid podcast has a 3-parter on Ed Gein. Really great story that actually tells the actual truth about what happened. But we had Charlie Hunnam as Ed Gein, who, to play a role like that of such a disturbed individual, he knocked it out of the park. We also had, gosh, why is her name slipping my mind? Hold on. Sorry, I don't know why. I don't know why her name is like not Lori Metcalf. Oh my gosh. I honestly can't believe I forgot her name. This is why I should write everything down. Lori Metcalf from Roseanne. She played Ed Gein's mom. Stellar performance. Both of them great performances. The show unfortunately fell flat, but I had to at least recognize them in some way. So that's why Charlie Hunnam is on that list. Then I had Claire Danes in The Beast in Me because I loved her. I think she did a great performance. And then along with that, like honestly, the entire cast of It, Welcome to Derry for me has just been incredible. It's hard to even just pick one of them. James Remar, Madeline Stowe, all of the children in that show, but really Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise as well. The laugh, the mannerisms, like the physicality of it. I just props to Bill Skarsgård, who also played Pennywise in It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Some scenes of television that I enjoyed this year. Ray Seahorn in Pluribus with the Truth Serum video. She gave herself Truth Serum and then basically recorded herself talking about her real thoughts, and something about that just really sat with me. Episode 7 of It, Welcome to Derry, there was a major death, and I can't say what it was because I don't want people to know or give anything away, but let's just say one of these characters was a real hero, and I still get goosebumps thinking about it. So absolutely incredible. Okay, the scenes with the therapist and Jamie from Adolescence. Again, just such a powerful performance, and so much story is told just even with the visual exchanges of these characters, the way they're looking at each other, like the physical presence of them in a room by themselves and the therapist talking to this young man who's been accused of this crime, like absolutely crazy. The scene of the major character that we lost in Dexter Resurrection, if you watched it, you know, it's one of the longtime franchise characters. It gutted me, absolutely. So those were some of my favorite scenes. But getting back to the comments for a second, have you checked out The Boys or Gen V? Now, this is really interesting. Okay. I'm going to preface this by saying I watched Better Call Saul before I watched Breaking Bad. And you know what? I was fine. So my friend Jess over at Matt and Jess TV is like, you know what? You'd really like Gen V. I think your viewers on your channel would really like it. But I'm like, oh, I haven't watched The Boys. So she was kind of like helping fill me in on some of the lore of The Boys, even though now obviously I've started watching it. I'm still not to the end, and the final season's coming out in 2026. But I did cover Gen V. That is a spinoff of The Boys, and you don't necessarily have to watch The Boys to understand Gen V. I think obviously it's helpful because there is some crossover, and basically Gen V season 2 sets up for the final season of The Boys. So the way that they're sort of melding those two stories together in this universe, I think is interesting. But also, they had one of their actors tragically pass away. Chance Perdomo was in a motorcycle accident. He played Andre in season 1. The way that they were able to honor that character throughout season 2 and not just write like throwaway lines that, okay, you know, he died, he's gone. No, they did this better than almost any actor who unfortunately passed away before the next season of a show. I cannot speak highly enough of the way that they did that. It reminds me a little bit of Riverdale when Luke Perry passed away. They actually brought on Shannon Doherty to play a part in honoring him, and I am still crying over that. I mean, seriously. But yes, I love Gen V. I'll probably be back to cover it for season 3, although I don't think we have renewal news yet. Actually, let me Google that. I'm pretty sure the last time I checked, we did not hear anything. Okay, not officially confirmed by Prime Video. I think it's likely, especially because the Boys franchise has been very popular and lucrative, so I imagine it will come back. But yeah, and you know what? Great job remembering Chance, very tasteful. There was actually somebody that put out an article saying that it was exploitative the way that they did that, and I was shocked. And I personally thought it was the opposite of that. I thought it was very meaningful, and I think the way that the other actors portrayed their emotions when they were talking about the character, because obviously they had to, make him die in the show as well. I'd imagine there was a sort of heaviness on set throughout the season, and I just cannot give enough credit to this production team for shifting gears and having to pivot after his death and then being able to honor him and tell his story. So well done. And I should also say that Cypher, played by Hamish Linklater, was one of my favorite characters of the year. He played such a good baddie. Loved his character. He's also in Midnight Mass, which I watched for the first time this year because I enjoyed him so much in The Boys. Okay, so I'm hearing here in the comments, they're waiting for renewal after The Boys airs. Okay, totally makes sense. I get that. Yeah, so, I mean, amazing. Gen V, really good. Just a couple of my least favorites of the year. So first of all, one that I was really excited about on Netflix, starring Jason Bateman, who I love, and Jude Law, who I really haven't seen in anything for a long time. Black Rabbit. I started it and I didn't finish it. It's rare I don't finish a show, and it wasn't like terrible. I just felt like I wasn't emotionally invested in the characters or the story. It just wasn't my favorite. And that, when I was thinking of my least favorite shows of the year, I just basically went with like what popped into my head first, because obviously there's a reason why it pops into your head. That was one of them. Poker Face Season 2, which I actually covered here on the channel. I think the first half of the season was great, but it just dropped the ball in the second season. And they've done a really weird thing where it's canceled at Peacock, but they're shopping it around for other networks, but trying to replace Natasha Lyonne's character Charlie with Peter Dinklage, apparently. And Ryan Johnson is saying that that's been his plan the entire time, to bring in a different character to play Charlie every couple seasons, which first I'm hearing of it, bro. But I don't know. See, exactly. LOL. Is right. Like, what are they doing? Either cancel it and let it go, or, I mean, it's an anthology. Each episode's basically an anthology with like a little bit of an overarching storyline, but yeah, like, what are we doing here? I mean, I guess Natasha Lyonne would still be involved, like, producer-wise, but maybe one of the weirdest pieces of TV news this year, aside from Dexter Original Sin getting canceled after it was renewed. So, yeah, see, breaking some news here. Really, I didn't know that about the poker face of it all. So maybe it'll end up on, like, I don't know, Netflix or something with Peter Dinklage, or honestly, like, with all of the consolidation of streaming networks and what's going on with Warner Brothers and Netflix and Paramount, like, all the things, who knows where anything will actually end up ever. But there we go. Okay. So, okay, here we go. So that's kind of weird, but it might be interesting. It might be interesting. It might not be. I think one of the strengths of Poker Face is because each episode is basically an anthology, they can bring in a whole slew of guest actors. And I think they had a wonderful slate of them in season 2. Giancarlo Esposito, Katie Holmes, Melanie Linsky, lots of great people. I just think some of the stories, especially the second half of the season, like, I just didn't love them. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, you never know. But looking ahead to 2026. Wow, you guys, this might be my longest live of all time. We're probably going to hit 2 hours. So just want to say also, again, thank you for watching and for being here. I'm so glad there's people in the comments that I can chat with. I think that's like the best part of a live stream, obviously. And again, follow me on Insta if you haven't already, at Media Melanie, so that way you can also catch my Friday weekend watches. I'm trying to hit 10,000 followers over on Instagram, which is like quite an arduous task, but you know what? I thought that the same here on YouTube, and I did it. So never say never. All right. I do plan on putting out a more robust preview video of 2026 TV, but I did want to run through first the shows that are definitely on my coverage radar. The Pit, as I mentioned, coming back in January, another 15 episodes. Can't wait. Tell Me Lies on Hulu is coming back for its third season on January 13th. Now, Tell Me Lies, if you're into the young adult genre, you cannot miss this one. And I've got to say, it's interesting for me because I first watched season 1 and I hate watched it because these characters are so detestable. And I just learned that actually the two leads are dating in real life, which is really interesting to me because I hate their characters so much. But the actors who play them do a phenomenal job of making you hate these characters. And I've got to just credit to the writing as well. The twists behind it are just very well played. So you've still got time to catch up on season 1 and season 2. It's one of those twisted shows where you're like, I can't believe how awful these people are, but you can't stop watching type of thing. But I'm 100% covering that on the channel. It may be one where I do 3 videos a week, kind of depending on how the story goes. School Spirits, January 28th, Paramount Plus. Again, School Spirits was on my list at number 9. Love the show. Teen, young adult, supernatural drama. It's just so endearing. It's got nostalgia, intergenerational appeal, mystery box. It's really got everything. Cannot recommend that enough. Silo on Apple TV, season 3. I covered season 2. Season 3 is, by all accounts, going to take place more before the events of the Silo. I'm just hoping that we get still enough of inside the Silo to keep us interested because I am so vested in the Silo story of it all. I think season 2 was good. We had Steve Zahn in there, which was an interesting way to mix it up. Forgot about Silo, and I guess it's been done for a while, but they still haven't announced a premiere date. I'm thinking January, but not confirmed. Maybe early February. I don't know. But also Silo and Paradise, kind of give a little bit of each other. If you like Silo, you might like Paradise without giving too much away. Euphoria season 3, April on HBO. Now this has been off of our screens forever. Stars Zendaya. I feel like I always say her name wrong, and then I always lose my mind and can't figure out which it is. Okay, but first, before Euphoria, this comment: Apple TV is the worst at promoting their own shows. Literally, who is their marketing department? We know they have plenty of money, and I'm a social media marketer, and I work in TV production, and I'm thinking hire me to do your marketing. I would slay at creative ways to let people know about their shows. Half of these shows you don't even know are airing. Before is an example. It starred Billy Crystal, had a little bit of Judith Light in it. It wasn't my favorite show, but I enjoyed it, and nobody was talking about it. Tehran. I just saw a preview for it last night. It stars Hugh Laurie from House, and I'm I didn't even know this was a show, and it's coming up on season 3. What are you doing, Apple TV? Could not agree more. They need to do a better job, and if they did, I feel like they could actually compete because their original programming is exceptional. And really, what are they doing? If you need marketing help, Apple TV, Media Melanie, I'm here for you. Okay, so Euphoria season 3 is another interesting situation because Angus MacLeod, he actually passed away. He played Fez on the show. So I'm wondering how they're going to pivot with his character storyline, how they're going to address it. I'm just going to say I don't know if anybody can do it the way Gen V did it. So curious to find out exactly how that goes. Oh my gosh, Brianna, I swear they're just laundering money and don't care if they get views. Seriously, what other reason would you have for not promoting your shows? I truly do not understand it. It's they throw all their money at Severance and then everything else is by the wayside. I don't know. Slow Horses, for instance. I know a lot of people watch that and it comes back every year. It's reliable. Just in general, a lot of their shows don't get a lot. And then they go and renew some shows that I'm really? The last thing he told me, that Jennifer Garner show, I'm shocked it got a second season. Surface, another one. I'm really? What are we doing here? So I find that to be interesting. And then they also renew shows before season 1 even airs, which interesting tactic as well. Who knows who's behind all of that. But Euphoria, finally coming back, season 3. The Vampire Lestat in the world of Interview with the Vampire, that is coming in April. That is an AMC show. Season 1 and season 2 are called Interview with the Vampire. Season 3 is called The Vampire Lestat. Obviously, this is in the Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles universe. I had started covering the Talamasca. I didn't finish it. It just wasn't like hitting me super hard. I've heard Mayfair Witches maybe isn't like the best, but apparently they're supposed to have a new setting and showrunner for the next season of that show. But for me, Interview with the Vampire, I fell in love with that show. And apparently a lot of the Interview with the Vampire fandom is very into heated rivalry for the feral gayness of it all. And hey, I welcome all of that. So looking forward to that. From on MGM Plus. Okay, so this is one of the shows that is so under the radar and such a hidden gem. Like, I tell people about it and they're like, huh? It's because it's on MGM Plus. Oftentimes throughout the year, though, they will on Prime Video have like season 1 or season 2 sometimes available. It's if you like Lost. So Christina, if you like Lost and Yellow Jackets, From should definitely be on your watch list. It is now going to be going into season 4. It is definitely giving Lost vibes. It's essentially a town where people get trapped in. There's a horror element to it. It is very mystery box and incorporates elements of all different things. And it's another thing that I don't want to say too much about to give away, but I highly encourage you, especially if you have Prime Video, you can actually go in and look at your add-ons in there to see if you can get like a special trial or, free month of MGM or something like that. So highly recommend it. And then too, MGM is home of The Institute, which is that Stephen King show I was talking about as well. So, and you know what I'm seeing here in the comments? Talamasca was okay. Felt like it needed 3 or 4 more episodes. Okay, yeah, I may end up going back to it, but just the first couple, I felt like I was drawn in for the Daniel Malloy of it all. And then afterwards, I was like, and Jason Schwartzman, like, did they come back? I feel like if I knew they were back, maybe, that would be a little bit of extra incentive to go finish it. Let's see, Brianna, I'm happy for the lead actor, but I can't watch something so spooky. Now, From is very spooky, and again, it does star Harold Perrineau from Lost. He's fantastic. And actually, if you watch The Institute, one of the characters from is also in The Institute. Must be like an MGM type of thing. And I don't have MGM Plus. If I get another streaming service, my wife will kill me. Hear that. I definitely took advantage of Black Friday specials, and I encourage everybody to set a reminder for next October to cancel your streaming services, and that will make you eligible for Black Friday specials. I just got an exceptional deal for HBO, got a good deal for Disney with Hulu. And then also I went to cancel my Paramount Plus and they offered me like 40% off to stay. So I think I'm paying now like, let's say like $6 a month or something for the Paramount Plus premium with no ads. So if you have Paramount, like give it a try. I don't know, like, they want you to stay, obviously. So so seriously, like set that alarm. I learned that a couple years ago, October 1st, I go and I cancel everything, except for Netflix, because Netflix never has specials. So I'll keep Netflix. My kids were like, Mom, but where's Disney and where's Hulu and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, kids, you're going to have to wait. So yes, I did get the ad version specials, but let me tell you, like it adds up. And I just use the commercials to relive the olden days when we had to get up and use the restroom or get a snack or, whatever on commercial break. So I know ads are annoying, but you got to weigh your priorities, like, do you want more streaming services? Like, are the ads a deal breaker? You just got to make that decision for you. But yes, make that cancellation next year. Put it on your list. Okay. The Way Home on Hallmark. It's a time travel show. It's very Hallmark. So it's something I watch with my daughter. I don't have to worry about like weird, inappropriate things happening. And actually this show got the news that it was going to cancel in the middle or towards the end of filming for season 4. So they actually had to pivot to be able to wrap it up. Now I'm hoping that it's in a satisfying way. There's quite a big fandom for The Way Home. It stars Andy McDowell. I love this show. I love time travel. Like if you like shows like Dark, this is a very like dark light version, but the way that they tell the story with the time travel and incorporate all the different things and how the past and the present tie together, and if this didn't happen, this doesn't happen, and these people are actually related. love the show. Unfortunately, it's on Hallmark. So it used to be on Peacock, much easier entry to a streaming service that people enjoy. And a show I didn't mention that I covered here this year is The Paper on Peacock. It's actually coming to NBC as well. It's the spinoff of The Office. And I've got to say, I was pretty surprised at how much I enjoyed it. It was not a top 10 show for me, but who knows? Maybe season 2 will be. There was one character in there that drove me absolutely insane. Oscar from The Office does return to the show. If you want to see my full thoughts on it, you can obviously check out the video. I've got one spoiler-free to see if you should watch it, and then one that does contain spoilers. Yellow Jackets on Paramount Plus. That is coming in 2026 for the last season. Cannot wait to cover that here. And then just some other shows on my radar that I may or may not cover, but that I'm just interested in. The Night Agent is coming back for season 3 on February 19th on Netflix. Scarpetta, based on the Patricia Cornwell books, which I love, is coming March 11th on Prime. It stars Nicole Kidman. Actually, really great cast just in general. Bobby Cannavale, his son, actually. And Bobby Cannavale was in Only Murders this year, which, again, did not land on my top 10 list. But also, my favorite podcast is a Morbid podcast with Ash and Delana. They are actually from Stoughton, Massachusetts, which is close to where I grew up. But they do an interview with Patricia Cornwell, the author of the Scarpetta books. And if you're a fan of those books, I highly recommend listening to that interview and then keeping Scarpetta on your radar as well. Oh my gosh, $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. That makes me so happy. I've received maybe like one of these in all of my time YouTubing, and I just appreciate that so much. Thank you. That like makes me so happy. Oh my gosh. Made my day. Thank you so much. We have Brianna saying Night Agent is one of my comfort shows. I agree. It's a great show. Rose's character won't be back this year, which I think I'm going to miss. So I'm a little bit sad about that. And yes, that's right. Night Agent season 3. You got to watch season 2. I think for me, season 1 was probably my favorite. And actually, Simone Kessel from Yellow Jackets appeared in season 1. And also, Kelly Sadecki, that character from Yellow Jackets, also appeared in season 1 of The Night Agent as well. Sarah Desjardins is her name. So there's a little bit of Yellow Jackets crossover in that show as well. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Party hat emojis. Thank you for all your hard work. I really appreciate you guys. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Like, it really affirms what I'm doing here and something that I'm so passionate about. Okay, Your Friends and Neighbors season 2. Like I said, that is coming back April 3rd on Apple. Again, I interviewed Lena Hall, who plays John Hamm's sister. So definitely check out that interview if you were into Your Friends and Neighbors. Shrinking season 3, January 28th on Apple. Season 2 actually landed on my top 10. Actually, it was my #1 show of the year last year. It's one of those shows where like you're laughing, you're crying, and the cast, Jessica Williams is like a national treasure. Harrison Ford, I love that show. It deals with a lot of, tough issues surrounding mental health and mental health practitioners and, how their lives are not perfect either. So Shrinking is like one of my favorite all-time shows. Yes, it is a great show. Scrubs reboot on ABC coming February 25th. I have major mixed feelings about this because Scrubs, at least the early seasons, one of my all-time favorite comedies, along with like 30 Rock, Schitt's Creek. There's another one I'm not thinking of. Obviously, if I'm not thinking of it, it can't be that important. But I love Zach Braff. I love Sarah Chalk. She was actually in that show Firefly Lane, which had, I think, 3 seasons. Adored that show. Cried my eyes out in that show. But reboots, right? They can either be good or they can be bad. So to be determined. So I'll probably at least put out like an initial review on whether or not you should watch it. And also sometimes these reboots take a little time to get into. So we'll see. And then finally, last thing here, David E. Kelly's Margot's Got Money Troubles. That is a book adaptation. My friend actually got me this book for my birthday. I still haven't read it. It is coming April 15th to Apple. It stars Michelle Pfeiffer, who, by the way, I did not know was married to David E. Kelly. David E. Kelly also did Presumed Innocent, another Apple show, coming back for season 2, initially dubbed a limited series, but guess what? It is going to be back again. Different storyline, though. But it stars Elle Fanning, Nick Offerman. It's a dramedy, so I'm going to kind of keep that on my radar, or probably do a preview or something like that. But Okay, so, they need to leave Scrubs alone. Yeah, I mean, it was a classic. It's almost like redoing The Office, right? And I'm not saying that Paper's like the best show out there, but it actually surprised me at how much I enjoyed it and how easy of a watch it was. So I'm curious to see if they can do that with Scrubs. Because they have a lot of the returning cast. We'll see. I will say I'm not like super optimistic though either. Okay, so my last thing here, I just wanted to go over some Golden Globe stuff, and I realize I'm going on like 2 hours here. Again, my longest live ever. But you know what? My kids have soccer practice after school, and I'm just gonna get it all in there right now. But I will put the time codes down below for people watching later. Okay, first up, best performance by a male actor in a limited series, anthology, or motion picture. We have got Charlie Hunnam for, oh, hold on, I need to take one of these comments down here. It's blocking. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, Charlie Hunnam, Monster, the Ed Gein story. Again, show wasn't that great, but Charlie Hunnam, incredible. Jacob Elordi for The Narrow Road to the Deep North. Honestly, I've never even heard of that show. Sorry. Jude Law for Black Rabbit actually surprised me because, again, like, I don't know, I didn't finish the show. Matthew Rhys for The Beast in Me. Well deserved. Oops, there goes my alarm. Paul Giamatti for Black Mirror. I think Black Mirror was great. And then Stephen Graham for Adolescence, which is, very well deserved. So that's where we're at there. Prediction-wise, I mean, I hope Charlie Hunnam gets it, but I can also see Stephen Graham taking it home. But really also Matthew Rhys, like, phenomenal job in The Beast in Me. What do you guys think? Who's going to win? Drop it down below and let me know what you think. Okay, best performance by a female actor in a supporting role on television. Amy Lou Wood, The White Lotus, Carrie Coon, The White Lotus, Catherine O'Hara, The Studio, Erin Doherty, Adolescence, Hannah Einbinder, Hacks, and Parker Posey, The White Lotus. A lot of White Lotus going on there, which I think sometimes can actually cancel each other out. But if I'm just going on, I don't know, Erin Doherty for Adolescence, who played the therapist, wonderful performance. Like I said, that was one of my favorite scenes on television. So here for that. Let's see. We've got best performance by a male actor in a supporting role on television. Ashley Walters for Adolescence, Billy Crudup, The Morning Show, Jason Isaacs, The White Lotus, Owen Cooper, Adolescence, Tremel Tillman, Severance, and Walton Goggins, The White Lotus. I realize that part of this is cut off by the comments part there, but I'm just going to keep it there and you can just go by my voice. So what makes me mad is we don't have Tom Pelphrey from Task here. Once again, absolutely devastating. I think we could have removed a couple of these actors, although I do love Tremel Tillman. I think he's great. And hey, I love Walton Goggins and Jason Isaacs. I don't think we need 2 White Lotus nominations. We should have had one in there for Task as well. Quickly here, hold on, I got a couple comments here. Okay, why is this comment not coming up? I'm preparing dinner, do a live broadcast every day. I love it. Oh my gosh, you are so sweet. Thank you. Again, like, I love doing this, so maybe I should do more, but make sure you follow on Instagram because I do the Friday, usually around noontime live as well. And then Tillman was amazing. 2 words, marching band. You know what? That marching band scene probably should have been in my top scenes of the year now that you mention it. So thank you for bringing that up. Oh my goodness. Like, so good. Okay, let's see. Next one, best podcast. Now, this is a new category, and I actually don't listen to any of these podcasts. I was hoping my girls at Morbid would get it because I believe they made something like 30 podcasts eligible for it, and these are the ones that they ended up with. But Call Her Daddy. I actually met this Alex Cooper. She was a guest at one of the games I was working at, I believe for soccer. So I think Call Her Daddy is very popular, but also Good Hang with Amy Poehler. I don't listen to it, but I've heard good things. And one of the producers on the Ringer Network, who I love their TV podcasts, I believe produces that as well. So I guess in a way, I'm kind of hoping that she wins. Best performance by a male actor in a television series, musical, or comedy. Adam Brody, Nobody Wants This. I will tell you, Nobody Wants This season 1 was on my list last year for top 10, didn't make it this year. You can check out my video for how I felt about season 2. Glenn Powell, Chad Powers, no idea, sorry. Jeremy Allen White, The Bear. The Bear's not a comedy, so I'm going to pretend like I'm not even seeing his name there, even though the show is decent. Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building. I mean, well earned. He's not my favorite character on the show, but the show is very funny. Seth Rogen, The Studio. That's who I'm going for here. And then Steve Martin from Only Murders in the Building. Also very funny. And Only Murders is coming back again for season 6. It will be set in London, surrounding the murder of Cinda Canning, played by Tina Fey. I also did cover that on the channel, so you can get my sentiments on that show as well. Best performance by a female actor in a television series, musical or comedy. Ayo Edebiri, The Bear. Jean Smart Hacks. Jenna Ortega, Wednesday. I did not finish Wednesday, I will admit. Loved season 1. Kristen Bell, Nobody Wants This. Natasha Lyonne, Poker Face. And Selena Gomez, Only Murders in the Building. Okay, I guess if I'm picking here, I mean, I didn't love Kristen Bell in season 2 of Nobody Wants This, and Natasha Lyonne was fine. I didn't finish Wednesday. I don't watch Hacks. I don't believe The Bear is a comedy. So you know what? Process of elimination. Selena Gomez, Only Murders in the Building is my pick for that one. Oh, and I'm hearing here in the comments, I listened to Amy Poehler. It's really good. It's on YouTube. You know what? Maybe I should also start listening. I do listen to a lot of these entertainment podcasts since, that's what I like. Okay, let's see. Is this? Nope, that was the last one. Okay, best performance by a male actor in a television series drama. Adam Scott, Severance. Diego Luna, Andor. I don't watch Andor. Gary Oldman, Slow Horses. I mean, he could win every year, honestly. He's great. Mark Ruffalo in Task is my pick, but also Noah Wyle in The Pit. Now, he already won the Emmy. I wouldn't be mad if Mark Ruffalo got it instead, but I do think Noah Wyle probably deserves it the most there. And then Sterling K. Brown for Paradise. Actually, I would not mind seeing Sterling K. Brown's name up there as well. He deserves it. Loved him in Paradise. Best performance by a female actor in a limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. Amanda Seyfried, Long Bright River. I still need to watch that. Someone told me I need to read the book before I watch it. Claire Danes, The Beast in Me. Michelle Williams, Dying for Sex. I don't watch that show. Rashida Jones, Black Mirror. Actually, fantastic. Robin Wright in The Girlfriend. The show was fine. I definitely do not think necessarily that she should be winning an award for that. And then Sarah Snook in All Her Fault on Peacock, which I still haven't watched. I've heard it's good. But I guess if I'm picking who I think will win, I've got to go for Claire Danes for The Beast in Me, just based on her jaw quiver alone. All right, next one. Best performance by a female actor in a television series drama. Bella Ramsey, The Last of Us. Britt Lauer, Severance. Helen Mirren, Mobland. Kathy Bates, Matlock. Kerry Russell, The Diplomat. And Ray Seahorn for Pluribus. This category is stacked. I've got to say probably Britt Lauer or Kerry Russell, but also like Pluribus isn't over yet. So Ray Seahorn, I mean, she could still do it. Honestly, this is a really tough category. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Pardon me, I seem to be getting a little congested here. Okay, best television limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. Adolescence, All Her Fault, Black Mirror, Dying for Sex, The Beast in Me, and The Girlfriend. I've got to say, I think Adolescence will probably take it, but also I wouldn't mind seeing The Beast in Me. I think it was very well done, and because it's already getting this early recognition, given that it just streamed, I don't know, I think it's got a pretty good chance here. Best television series, musical, or comedy. Abbott Elementary, love that show. I watch it with my family. The Bear, not a comedy. Category fraud, get out of here. Hacks, Nobody Wants This. Only Murders in the Building, and The Studio. Now, this is a really tough one. I think Abbott Elementary in general, season over season, does a great job. I don't think Nobody Wants This season 2 should be up there. I think it was fine and entertaining, just like not as strong as season 1. Only Murders in the Building, for me, it's got to be The Studio. I think The Studio will probably end up winning. And yes, down in the comments, Hacks seems to win every year, right? Like, they sure do. And I watched the first season. It's fine, but I don't know. Like, whatever. And also, can we just get The Bear out of the damn category? Like, seriously. Okay. Best television series drama. The Diplomat, Pluribus, Severance, Slow Horses, The Pit, and The White Lotus. All right, this is a tough one because let's face it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 of these shows are on my top 10 list. If I'm going by what's ranked the highest on my list, obviously The Pit. But really, I could see any of these winning except for White Lotus. Personally, this last season of White Lotus wasn't my favorite. The brother on brother incest storyline like really kind of grossed me out. So yeah, I mean, I've got to say, it'll be interesting to see. Like, will Pluribus make a huge awards run because it is a Vince Gilligan show? I mean, I think it's very possible. So we will see. But drop who you think will end up winning the Golden Globes down in the comments. And again, I mean, gosh, this is the longest live stream I've literally ever done. Actually, I did one on Teflon TV this year as well. That may have been over 2 hours. It was on Dexter Resurrection. But first time for my channel, 2 hours. I sure can talk a lot. I appreciate everybody who's been here watching with me and commenting. And again, if you're watching it on playback, I'll have time codes down in the comments, although now that it's the end of the video, it doesn't really resonate quite the same. But thank you guys. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate all of you so much. Like, I honestly cannot express the gratitude I have for this community here. Just being able to talk about television in a respectful manner and hear everybody's opinions about it. Like, the comments are my favorite part. And as a creator, I reply to pretty much every comment. Sometimes my notifications are weird and I won't see one if it's like a reply in a thread. But for the most part, I make it my job to reply to all of them because it is my job. I feel like it's a two-way street. Like, it's not just me here putting out a video, but I take to heart so much what everybody says in the comments. And I love all the different theories and opinions and all that stuff. So, just some business at the end of the show. If you do want to shop with me, there's the QR code up in the corner, the pinned comment with some links for my merch. I've got some really fun gift ideas in there for yourself or the holiday season for other people. I am covering It Welcome to Derry and Heated Rivalry, most likely Fallout, and then next month, Tell Me Lies, School Spirits, and The Pit. So stay tuned for those. And follow me on Instagram at Melanie so you can catch my lives on Fridays, Weekend Watch. And if you need the holiday TV recommendations as well, Black Doves, Mistletoe Murders, and Dash and Lily. I meant to mention those earlier. If I didn't, hard to remember now that it's been over 2 hours. But thank you guys so much. I know I keep saying thank you and gratitude, but that is the most important thing to me. So I will be back again very soon. And, in the comments, thank you. Be safe. We love your breakdowns. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Endless appreciation. But I'll be back with It Welcome to Derry this Sunday, another Heated Rivalry review, and then I hope to get up some School Spirits theory videos as well. So thank you for tuning in. I will be back again soon. And again, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Melanie, clicking off. See you guys.